Which are close to 11. If your co-stars. Hambo beka. Yeah, good. Nancy if your co-stars abakule ndlu. Hi guys, welcome back. I'm just waiting for the water to get warm. I've just come back from gym, having my morning coffee, and yeah. I was thinking about something when I was at gym today. Thinking about essentially. Wait, first, if you have not subscribed, I'm talking to you. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share, like, comment. Yeah, I was just in the gym, just thinking, when good gym, you just think. Sometimes you think about your body, and I just thought about like my relationship with my body and weight, and where I'm currently like finding myself at the moment. And I just thought, let me just share about my thoughts around the relationships we have with our bodies, right? So I'll just go through my identity with regards to like my body and how I grew up and things like that. So I grew up as like a chubby child. I don't even recall being like a skinny child, but I was like skinny when I was like 4 and less than that. And for some reason after that, I gained a lot of weight, and then I was a chubby child, which affected my self-esteem. And like you can imagine, because I grew up as, you wouldn't imagine, but I grew up as like very introverted. So I was like the introverted chubby child. But recently or lately, like obviously my weight has been fluctuating. I've been gaining, losing, gymming, not gymming. And like it's like my weight is like doing this, and I think self-esteem is like doing this, which is like such a relief, right? Whether and chubby, whether and don't, whether and it'll just be like, oh, I'm confident to do this or that, or wear this or wear that, but it doesn't change how I feel about myself holistically. Yeah, I'm chubby, but I'm okay with my body. Like I'm happy with me holistically. Not necessarily I'm okay with my body, but like I'm happy. I don't feel not pretty. I don't feel like I'm doing a disservice to my body, like I'm feeling okay, Yes, I love my body when I'm a bit slimmer or fitter, because then I can do more of the things that I like. Maybe like hiking isn't as strenuous, or I can, I'm fine with, but overall on the right, like I'm fine. Like I'm okay with my body. And I think where the relationship started changing, right, is when I started taking note of the things that I ask of my body and how much my body actually enables me, right? As I think we ask so much of our bodies, right? Firstly, I'm asking my body to wake up and be productive, yeah? And that's just like normal, like wake up, be productive, do something. I'm asking my body to like work so that it can give me an income, or it can change like my odds. I'm asking my body to think me into like this new realm, and also just physically like be there doing the work. There are times when I ask my body to stay up longer than what it needs to. I ask my body to concentrate a bit longer than what it needs to. I ask my body sometimes, like I'll go on a hike knowing I'm not fit, and I'm asking you to do something that I haven't prepared you for. And our bodies do it anyway, One thing about your body, it will show up for you, And besides the fact that I'm asking you to do also these physical things that are different, I'm asking you to absorb the emotions as well that I'm going through and I'm navigating. Like I'm asking my body that, like when I'm sad, absorb the sadness and let it not manifest into sickness. Like I'm asking it to regulate the emotions and all of the things that it releases, like from traumas and things. Like, I'm asking it to absorb and still be a body. Like, and still be, do you get what I mean? Still function, still whatever. But we don't give our bodies enough space or time to have the conversation, to be like, okay, now I'm stressed. I don't feel like doing this. Now I'm whatever. I don't feel like doing this, or this is tiring, this is exhausting, this is whatevering. Tina, we want to discipline our bodies out of managing the things we ask of it. Yeah? And so I've gained such a huge appreciation for my body. I mean, this body houses my heart, my mind, my feelings, my emotions. It houses my potential. It houses my ability to do even when unprepared. Like, it houses so many possibilities, right? And I think the last thing that I need to do is to not appreciate it, right? And to also not give it room to be itself, you know? And here's the thing, right? And I kind of don't think I am able to focus so much on what is assumed to be a healthy approach to get through a stressful time. Like, and I mean this in the context of, when I add routine to try and get through a stressful time, I stress because of trying to stick to the routine. So it creates a scenario whereby I'm setting myself up for failure, right? Because number one, my body is not in a position whereby it can make good decisions, you know. And it can't, like, for example, the other week I went to gym and I was stressed, and I'm just like, I'm so frustrated because I'm working so hard, but I'm also extremely stiff because I've pushed my body to the max, right? And so I'm struggling with mobility, and I'm struggling with moving forward, like physical mobility, and I'm also struggling with moving forward, like in the other things in my life. So sometimes I think that when we add this routine and this, oh, you must be up when you're down, like, I think that also stresses our bodies, because we introduce a new metric, né, that we need to monitor, that isn't always going to necessarily be like the metric for achieving productivity or moving out of this space, right? Is that I made this active effort to start listening to how I talk to myself when I'm gymming. I started this, I think, 2019 or 2018, when I was like starting to run and things like that. Oh, guys, I wish I could go back, but okay, time will tell. To being able to run 2018, 2019. And I just started listening to the things I said to myself in my head, like when I'm running or when I'm tired. And it would be along the lines of, you're so fat. Like, why, Bo? Why are you so unfit? Like, come on. Are you telling me you can't run to the next pole? Haibo kawe, you know? And you must listen to those voices very carefully, because those are subconscious thoughts that we have of ourselves, and we also reiterate them in difficult times, right? So I think in the beginning, when you start like working out and things like that, like it's very difficult, it's a tough task, but you must also hear that same voice of how you speak to yourself manifest itself even in other scenarios. Like, let's say you're studying or whatever, or maybe you're, and as your interpersonal relationships or whatever, that voice of questioning and doubting and judging yourself happens as well, right? So Kumna, I made an active effort of learning to talk to myself differently. Very weird, very odd, but it's made the world of a difference. And today when I was exercising, I was like, yo, yes, I'm enjoying it, but I thought, when was the last time that I actually said something not so nice to myself while gymming? Ne? And like, when I'm telling you guys this, I'm saying that like all the time. Like, if my chest burns, it'd be like, of course, Galok, because and it must be unfit, and it must Galok when you just eat whatever and it. And I really don't think we can really achieve much by by disciplining ourselves with hate, like self-hate. And sometimes it just requires you to even like force yourself to say something nice, even though you don't have something nice to say to yourself, or just teach yourself to keep quiet, right? I think the tone that I hear sometimes when I'm tired now, or the things like, it's like, let's go, cow, come on, I know you can do it. And I think it's a tone that I would use with anyone else that I'm around. I'm like, oh, come on, Q, I know you can do this. But remember the last time when you did this? Remember, that was still you. You know, you teach yourself to start talking to yourself a lot better. And I think that, and like where this thought was going was to say that, you know, we always talk about reparenting ourselves, right? And I think that in fitness, especially if you're somebody that like fitness or health or whatever, when you're still trying to figure it out, it is such a beautiful opportunity for you to relearn parenting yourself. I've learned to treat myself with care, you know, in the sense that, like, when I'm vulnerable, I must understand myself to be vulnerable, right? Maningafuna understand ngabantu bandi vulnerable, but I'm speaking to myself in a certain way. Like, I must be able to say to myself, it's okay, coward, like it's all right, you know? And I think that we can also think of how we discipline ourselves to become better people is also a space in us reparenting ourselves. We're learning how to give ourselves instructions or to commit ourselves to things, right? So how we parent ourselves in those moments becomes more and more important, right? So, and the Timos, we always say, but and like we always talk about these things, but you don't unlock potential by, number one, forcing your child to do something that, well, that's what we're saying. We like our parents could have done things better by not forcing us to do things we don't like, because there's opportunity of us to do well in the things that we do like, right? But then at the same time, when we look at fitness and health and whatever, we're constantly forcing ourselves to do things we don't like. Meanwhile, there's an opportunity for us to explore the things that we do like, ne? And to actually do that to reach like our goals and our fitness journey, like it targets it. It's not, and the thing is, right, similar to, I think, how we would have loved to be parented, to be able to say, okay, this thing I dislike, this one I don't dislike, it's just difficult, but if I keep at it, then I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna become less difficult. Like, how often do we look at the things we do from an exercise and eating perspective? Do we say, but no, you know what, this thing I don't like, and feel like we're okay for not liking some certain things, and then being able to say, but man, yes, this one, it's not that I don't like it, right? It's just that it's incredibly difficult. Like, burpees are incredibly difficult. It's not that my body doesn't like them. It's just that when I and I've seen, like, when I've gotten onto the journey of trying to learn to do burpees, I made some progress, and I was like, you know what, I'm happy, you know? It's not that I completely hated it, but we don't give, we like to muffle our body's voice, right? By making it do things that it doesn't want to do. Because in the same way that we say in Klambi, parents of the past, they were too lazy or too fixated on what they know to think of other things, of how do we reach this other point, through using the other techniques or things that might work for me or make me happy. Nati, we are too lazy to do that with our bodies, right? Okay, sure, maybe you don't like running, ne? Or you don't like, but you like dancing. How much dancing do you need to do in order to be able to make up like calories that you do? And like, it's not always a case of making up, but like, how much dancing do you need to do to be able to get to your goal? How much that, you know, you like walking, okay, but you're still burning calories when you're walking, right? So how long do you actually need to walk? Maybe you need to take longer walks and whatever, and that's still healthy. I think that we, in fitness and health and whatnot, the perfect opportunity for us to learn to reparent ourselves, to love ourselves gracefully, right? And to try and do all of the things like speaking to ourselves nicely, working on our subconscious and in terms of how we feel about ourselves, because it manifests in all things that we do. And there's so many lessons that you can learn while doing, like, you also need to be quite mindful while you're also engaging in like health and things like that, because there's so many lessons you can learn, because on your health journey you will always like be in corners or positions of difficulty, and I'm not saying that. Oh, another thing is that we can't coddle ourselves by saying, but I'm just not going to do the things that are not easy at the moment, right? That doesn't work. But I get health wise, I get, if it doesn't feel if it doesn't like Zatina, if it's just difficult, then I won't do it. That's, I guess that would be coddling, but it's also, yeah, like, I'm not saying we must coddle ourselves out of things, but I think we need to be a lot more gracious with ourselves. And it's a perfect opportunity for us to work on our self-esteem, get lessons, and to actually use that across various like parts of our lives. I remember one thing I used to do when I was like learning how to run like 10Ks. Was a distance, endurance, speed. That was the lesson that's always the thing I just taught myself. Distance, endurance, speed. So what that actually meant was do it to show yourself that you can do it, right? Because the moment that you so you'll run, and then you run, you walk, you run, you walk, you run, you walk, you stop, but if you told yourself, but today I am walking outside and I'm going to be able to do 5Ks, that's it. Nobody cares. And this is another thing that people don't get. Nobody cares how you do it. Just go out and do it, right? So you run the one, walk the whatever, do the don't do it, until you get to the 5, and then you're like, oh, actually, I have a visual picture of what 5 kilometers actually looks like, and I can actually do 5 kilometers, right? Sure, okay. And then the next part is to say that, you know what, endurance. So Kumana, I was like, okay, I can do 5 kilometers, endurance. Oh, you know what? Out of those 5 kilometers, the last time I ran 1 kilometer, the other I first walked, the other 4, right? And then you're like, okay, how do I do this 5 kilometers better, right? So that's the endurance. So how do I make sure that I'm not, I'm running 2 now, and not 2 out of the 5, and not the other way. Then it's like, okay, how do I do 3 out of 5? Okay, how do I do 4 out of 5? How do I do 5 out of 5? You're like endurance, and then you're like speed. So now that I know that I can do this for longer, how do I do it faster so that I can move on to like the next goal? Or how do I improve on the things that and distance, endurance, speed. It was something that I learned about. Oh, it actually works. Like physically, I've seen it. And therefore, for a lot of things in my life, I'm like, no, distance. Show yourself that you actually can do it. Endurance, okay, sharp. Show yourself that actually you can endure, and you can do it like for longer periods, or do more of the right thing than wrong, not that walking is wrong, but like do more of the better thing than the good thing, like manditolo. And then speed, like how do we do it like extremely like fast, or how do we then stretch the goal? And it's not always going to be a case of you need to be able to do speed before you stretch yourself. Sometimes it's like, oh, I've improved in speed, manditi, distance again, and then we start the process. Distance, endurance, speed. And I think that also teaches you like a lot in terms of just being patient with yourself. Like, for example, like when you go to gym, like going to gym with the fact that, okay, here's all of the things that I want to do today. It doesn't matter how long it takes me to get through it now, how many breaks I take in between. And that's just with life. Like, it doesn't matter. Let me show myself that I can do it. Okay, the next time I'm attempting it, let me do it. Let me have more endurance as I go through it. Ne? And then speed will, okay, let me go to the next thing, And I think that is it's gone past like just it being about fitness, and also the thing around talking about how you talk about yourself when you're in a corner. It's more than what happens like in the gym. I just wanted to say that number one, respect your body, right? Respect your body, appreciate the things that your body does for you. And also, like, don't forget to be kind, and don't forget to be mindful, even in how you formulate or manage the relationship you have with your body and fitness, etc. And like sus competition abantu, guys, you have your own story, your own things that you go through, and all of that is valid, and it's okay to be going through the things you're going through. And I think as everybody works like on their goals, number one, understanding what your goal is, what you want, understanding how you can manage it healthily. I just wanted to say good luck for all of your fitness journeys and getting in touch with your bodies. Be kind, love your body, and yeah, have a lovely, 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 lovely day. Chat to you guys later. Mwah.